Okay, well, President Obama will renew his call for a consumer financial protection agency today, but it's a move that banks and Republicans continue to protest, saying it hurts those consumers and their ability to get credit. Now, Austan Goolsbee is a White House senior economic advisor, and he joins us now from the White House. Austan, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Okay, now as I understand it, the president is going to be speaking about this agency this afternoon at 2 o'clock. How exactly, or what exactly is he going to say in order to sell this agency to the American public?
Well, you know, this is a key component of his effort to reestablish the rules of the road in the financial system that completely melted down and led to the biggest financial crisis since 1929. So that's the starting point. And what the president's going to say is we need to have transparency, we need to have accountability, and we need to have fairness. So you saw with the credit card effort a few months ago, and you see with the continuing consumer protection efforts on mortgages, on some other things, we're going to change various practices. And second, that it all needs to be centralized in one agency rather than spread out across 7 different agencies where different institutions can wiggle themselves in between the rules.
Yeah, but Austan, of course, you can't ignore the critics of this agency who say that this is going to hurt the ability to lend to small business owners, to lend to the American public. I mean, how do you discredit that argument when it seems to be a very real argument?
Well, I would say 2 things. First, if you just go look at the facts, it isn't true. It doesn't have a negative impact on small business at all. For things like community banks, who are the big lenders to small business, it's actually extremely positive because their main competitors who have been competing on a non-level playing field, things like payday lenders or various other kinds of non-regulated entities, have been competing against banks because, as I say, we've got these protections spread out over 7 different agencies, and so community banks are facing different sets of rules than other guys are. We need a centralized authority that holds the financial institutions accountable, but where we can also hold the government accountable. So there's one person whose job is to enforce the rules that are on the books, and all we're talking about here are things that are making the rules transparent, setting rules of the road so that there can be fairness, that people aren't deceiving the customers, that credit card companies aren't sending you teaser rates that as soon as you sign up, then 1 week later they pull the rate and change it. Yeah.
Austan, it's Peter Cook here in New York today. Let me ask you about this. You're creating a whole new agency here, though, and even Fed Chairman Bernanke said, listen, you could bolster our consumer protection responsibilities at the Fed and achieve essentially the same goal. Why do you have to create a whole new agency here? Why can't you ask these regulators, the current regulators, to just do their jobs?
Well, because what you saw over the last several years is, yes, they can do their job if they do it well on the people they regulate. But what happens when they start applying different rules to different people? So the Fed in mortgages had origination standards that would apply to subprime mortgages, but only to banks. And 2/3 of the subprime mortgages were made by non-banks. And so what you saw is countrywide and the various subprime lenders explicitly going around the Fed and going to those who would regulate them the least. There needs to be a central authority that applies one set of rules that applies across the board.
Okay, Austan, I can't let you go, though, without asking you about the news of this morning, which is your boss, President Obama, winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Do you know what his reaction is so far? Has this been a complete shock and a surprise at the White House?
It was a surprise to me. I mean, I don't speak Swedish, so I don't know what the thing was. I understand there's going to be a statement. It certainly wasn't anything that we were seeking, and you know, it's a fairly humbling event. But that's all I know about it.
And do you know what the president's reaction was initially when he heard the news?
I don't.
Okay, well, I'm sure we're going to find out. But thank you so much, Austan, for joining us. Austan Goolsbee,
nice talking to you again.
Senior White House economic advisor, and also thanks to Peter for joining us as well.